Welcome to Kids Planet Corner. How smart are you? General knowledge questions every kid should know. Which planet is closest to the Sun? Mercury. Which is the largest ocean on Earth? Pacific Ocean. Which country invented pizza?
Italy. How many continents there are on Earth? 7. How many sides does a hexagon have? 6. How many rings are there on the Olympic flag? 5. How many degrees are in a circle? 360. Which gas do plants absorb from the atmosphere? Carbon dioxide. How many stars are on the USA flag? 50. Which is the currency of Japan? Yen. Which is the smallest planet in our solar system? Mercury. What is the chemical formula of carbon dioxide? CO2. Which is the national sport of Canada? Ice hockey. Which natural disaster is measured by Richter scale? Earthquake. How many centimeters in a meter? 100. Which planet is known as the red planet? Mars. What do plants need to make food? Sunlight. What does a thermometer measures? Temperature. How many legs does a butterfly have? 6. Which country is known as the land of the rising sun? Japan. Which fruit has seeds on the outside? Strawberry. Which gas do we breathe in to live? Oxygen. Which city is home to the Eiffel Tower? Paris. What do you call a house made of ice? Igloo. Which bird is the national bird of India? Peacock. Which is the fastest land animal? Cheetah. Which gas do humans exhale? Carbon dioxide. Which is the national sport of Japan? Sumo. Which is the longest river in the world? Nile. Who invented the light bulb? Thomas Edison. In which country are the Great Pyramids located? Egypt. Which is the capital of Canada? Ottawa. What is the name of our galaxy? Milky Way. Which is the world's largest country by area? Russia. Which is the most common gas in the Earth's atmosphere? Nitrogen. What is the freezing point of water in Fahrenheit? 32 degrees Fahrenheit. How many bones are there in a human body? 206. Which organ produces bile? Liver. Which planet has the most moons? Jupiter. Which is the largest continent on Earth? Asia. Which is the largest animal in the ocean, sea? Blue whale. What gas do plants absorb from the air? Carbon dioxide. Who discovered gravity when apple fell on his head? Newton. Which organ pumps blood in the body? Heart. What is H2O commonly known as? Water. Which sea creature has 3 hearts? Octopus. What do we call animals that eat only plants? Herbivores. Which planet is known for having a great red spot? Jupiter. Kids, are you enjoying? Don't forget to subscribe. Which organ is responsible for filtering blood? Kidney. Which planet is known for its rings? Saturn. The Statue of Liberty was a gift to USA from which country? France. Which is the capital of India? New Delhi. Which is the largest desert in the world? Sahara. Which fruit shares its name with a color? Orange. Who was the first man to walk on moon? Neil Armstrong. Mount Everest is located on the border of which 2 countries? Nepal and China. Which country is both a continent and a country? Australia. Which country has the most natural lakes? Canada. How many days in a leap year? 366. Which fruit is dried to make raisins? Grapes. Which is the largest island in the world? Greenland. Which is the smallest continent by land area? Australia. Which metal is liquid at room temperature? Mercury. Which is the national bird of USA? Eagle. Which animal can regrow its limbs? Starfish. Which body organ produces insulin? Pancreas. Which is the process plants convert sunlight into energy? Photosynthesis. Which is not a primary color? Orange. Which is the most populated country in the world? India. Which gas is more responsible for global warming? Carbon dioxide. In which country the Buddha was born? Nepal. Kids, don't forget to like, share and subscribe Kids Planet Corner channel. Which is the hottest planet in the solar system? Venus. Which city is also known as the City of Canals? Venice. When did the First World War start? 1914. In which country the mobile company Nokia founded? Finland. Which country is the largest producer of tea? China. How many zeros are in 1 billion? 9. Which organ removes the excess water, urea, and waste from the blood? Kidney. Which country is famous for its tulips fields? Netherlands. What is the sum of the angles of a triangle? 180. Tiger Woods is famous for which sport? Golf. Which gas makes the balloons fly or float? Helium. How many faces does a cube have? 6. Which line divides the Earth in 2 equal parts? Equator line. Which animal does not have a spine? Snail. Where does the sun rise? East. Which organ helps fish to breathe? Gills. How many angles does a circle have? None. Which currency is used in Germany? Euro. What's Australia's national animal? Kangaroo. Which is the color of peace? White. The sun is star. What is the center of our solar system? Sun. Which is the largest planet in our solar system? Jupiter. Which is the hardest element found in nature? Diamond.
Thank you for watching. Bye bye, kids.